Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I actually have a book review for y'all, which it's been a while since that's happened. So today I'm going to be reviewing How to Travel Without Seeing by Andreas Neumann. I think I'm saying his name right. And first, let's just take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this cover. It's so pretty. I actually found this at Malvern Books, which is a bookstore in Austin, and they focus on selling locally owned, lesser known authors in their bookstore. And so this was a book they actually had for one of their book clubs, which hopefully I'll be able to make it to the meeting. Hopefully that works out, we'll see. But it just sounds really interesting because basically what this is Andreas Neumann. He's an author, and during one of his book tour travels, he kind of took notes throughout it. So essentially it's his journal while he was taking this book tour around Latin America. And as y'all know, I'm not the best at explaining books, so I'm going to kind of read the first page because I think it does a really good job of explaining the premise of the book. When the publishing house Alfaguara sent me the exhaustive itinerary of the book tour for their annual novel prize, I was sorry I wouldn't have more time to spend in each place. But then I thought, isn't that the point? Aren't I going to experience, without even planning it, the very essence of contemporary tourism? The idea was to take notes literally on the fly. If I was going to travel by air, I would write that way too. If I was going to spend months in airports, hotels, and way stations, the truly aesthetic thing would be to accept the situation and search for its literary style. Not to force my writing, but to adapt to the times and timetables. That way, the form of the journey would be the same as the form of a journal. And what really caught my eye was the way it's laid out, because it's laid out with, you can see his little different entries. And I thought it was really good. I gave it like a 3.75 to 4 stars. I didn't give it a super high rating because I couldn't relate to everything, which makes sense because he's an author primarily in the Spanish-speaking world, and so a lot of the authors he was mentioning were authors I didn't know because I'm not of the Spanish-speaking world. So I wasn't able to relate to them, but when he does mention authors like that, he does it in a way where if you don't know who it is, it doesn't confuse you. You still know what's going on. It's just you won't be like, oh, Harry Potter. Oh, I know what Harry Potter is. I've read Harry Potter. You won't have that kind of relationship when he mentions them. Definitely not a hard read, but it's not one that you want to skim read. You do want to pay attention with it. You really want to sit down and absorb it. One, so you can better understand it, and two, because there are a lot of little snippets of fun information and little quips and stuff that are just really great. And it's the kind of book that you want to go back and like highlight all the little things. You might want to keep Google handy while you're reading this book because one, there are a bunch of Spanish words, and I have taken Spanish, so I knew most of them, but there's one of them I was a little confused on because I didn't remember it, because I don't remember anything, or I hadn't learned it. So you might want to keep Google handy for that. Also, he loves big words, so if you are the kind of person that needs to know exactly what that big word means when you read it, you'll need Google. But again, he does both of these things in a way that if you don't know and you don't want to bother stopping and Googling it, then you can like just keep reading and you'll still understand what's going on and get the premise of the story. I was expecting this to be more of just like a journal, like today there's this conversation, but I really like how he mixed in conversations with random people he has on the trip, with musings of the books he's reading, with the current events in the country, with the history of the country. And it was like a great combination of like everything you could possibly need or imagine when you are writing like a journal about your trip. One of my favorite things that he did was his hotel ratings, and I'm gonna find one real quick. So Hotel in Botoga Bay El Retiro, hotel environment, sophisticated discomfort, reception style, a very un-Colombian coldness. And so like for every hotel he stops at, he does that kind of little rating scale, and I thought that was a little fun thing that he did. And going back to the kind of how he had a combination of lyrical musings and fun quips, here's the beginning of Mexico City. So his second entry for Mexico City was, flying over Mexico City, slowly traversing its interminable gray cloud is the closest thing I've ever known to landing on the moon. And then the next one says, I was ready to put down an original thought about the country when someone from the airport's duty-free came to offer us tequila in little plastic cups. So it's like there's just so much variety in what he writes, and it's great. Since this is not a YA fiction book, I wanted to go ahead and do a review for it. Even though it wasn't like my favorite book ever, I did really enjoy it. I thought it was very insightful. So I would definitely recommend this book, especially if you're wanting to learn more about Latin America, if you're in the mood for a kind of travel book. I don't know if I would necessarily say this is a road trip book, since I do think you want to kind of sit down and focus on what you're reading. Honestly, I'd say it's more of like a rainy day book when you could just sit inside, or one that you like read in the summer when you just sit out in a hammock or something. I wouldn't exactly classify it as an on-the-go book, but the writing style is very on-the-go because it's easy to find places to stop. So you can do with that what you will. Definitely recommend it. I thought it was very fun, very insightful. Love the cover. There you go. A review. How long has it been since I've done a book review? Let me know down below if you have read any books similar to this, like with this same kind of journal while traveling style, because I really liked that and would love to find more. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all again in another one soon.